in the country that have been criticized by environmental campaigners? If so, yes. If so, please share. Like, geez, in the US, yes, definitely. But I think, like, I'm trying to think, like, environmentalism is like a really, really, like, divided thing in the US where there are some people that don't believe that there's any where they decide on any sort of environmental stuff because of whatever, maybe because of money, whatever the case may be, and they say it's all fake news. So it's a very divided topic here in the U.S. Yeah, um, I obviously I believe that there is environmental issues happening, and there's real impact and a real danger, but it's a real divide for in the U.S. In fact, like under our former president, which I didn't like very much, he pulled us out of that Paris agreement. But I guess we're going to go back in, which is good.
And environmental people, they always criticize those projects, but those projects are also necessary, like constructing the roads or lands, or being used by the government for some projects, because those projects are also important. And in hill area, mountains, so governments, they are constructing the roads and tunnels. So they are just destroying the mountains. So just because of that, we get natural disaster. So environmental people, they are against of all these things. They want that naturality should be remain same. But the government has different kind of visions. So they think
Where,
about,
where are you from? I should know that, but where are you from?
I'm from India.
Oh, India. Okay.
So these all a few projects, means environmental people, they always criticize these kind of projects. And like we people also criticize, but the thing is this, we also need to think or see the flip side of this topic. So we also need to develop ourselves. We have good transportation, so we can develop, because transportation is the main way or medium for sending the things from one place to another place. If you don't have good transportation, we cannot develop.
Yes.
So that is all about my side about the projects which are being criticized by the environmental.
I mean, I agree. I think that a lot of times the developed world will criticize other countries for these environmental issues, but you need to obviously make this transportation and develop this transportation in order to become developed. And developing all this is going to cause environmental problems, but we can't just like put a standstill to that because we need to have everyone to be developed or like. So I don't know what the best solution is. Probably the best solution is countries like my own to stop using so much resources when we have like 5% of the population, but we're using I don't know how much, like huge amounts of resources and polluting huge amounts. That's probably the one of the solutions is that the countries that are more developed and are polluting more than ever, which I don't know the numbers, but I know that United States is a very small percentage of the population, but has one of the biggest impacts of pollution in the world. So I am aware of that, and I think that might be a solution. Is countries that are more developed is for them to do more because they've already developed, and so they can kind of. But the problem that we have is this. I was talking about this divide of like we're trying to have some laws go into effect to help with the environment, but there are too many people that say, oh no, that's going to hurt the coal miners in my state, so I'm going to vote against that. So we can't seem to get anything done or any new laws that will help the environment in the United States because of the divide, the political divide that we have.
That's true. And in my country, there is also happening, but in my country is developing country, not
Yes.
a lot of projects, a lot of things we are doing. Government is doing all these things. And the thing is this, I have also read one article about, there's a message from the environment. Actually, this is not actually the message from the environment. Somebody has written about this message that like we human cannot harm the nature. We can't harm how much we pollute the nature, how much we deteriorate the conditions of like environment, how much we make the tunnels. So nature can change its forms. It will heal itself. We are very small particles in front of the nature. We can't harm them. So it's a natural process. It can recycle itself. So that's why
Yeah.
the dinosaurs and other things means we have been receiving the disaster, nature, calamity for a long time. So why this kind of natural disaster come? Because the earth, it heals itself. It doesn't care that how many people are dying, how many people are like dying, how many projects are being destroyed, how many roads are being destroyed. So nature, earth, it doesn't care all these things. It heals itself.
उसके कहता नहीं
Means it's available for that's it.
Where are you from? What country?
From Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Okay.
Yeah, my country has the besides from the Shashiraj sir.
From Bangladesh?
India. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm from Bangladesh.
So continent of India.
Obviously. Bangladesh are Indian. They're also the friendship country.
We are
Am I right, sir? Yeah. So that is consequently from the side we are friendly as well. Your country also get to the friendship, the pay, and from the overall side. So that's the great for us.
great. Thank you very much.
What do you think is the most environmentally friendly way to travel long distances? Who wants to answer that one?
I think the most environmentally friendly way to travel long distances is use public transportation like a bus or trains. Because if you use public transportation, I think you can save energy. You can save energy, fuel, and of course you can. It is good for environment because if you can save fuel, I think it not cause something like emission, or if you use private transportation, you can cause something harmful for environment. Yes.
I would agree. I was kind of looking at this thinking it was like when you're traveling for vacation, and I was like, oh, I don't know. But for like traveling day to day, I agree, public transportation. One problem here in the US, like where I live, I can't do that to go to work because there is no way for me to take public transportation. There is no trains and no buses and no subways. So my only choice is to drive my car each day, and it takes me 40 minutes each way. So but obviously best to use public transportation when possible. So like one problem here in the US, I think, is that we need more public transportation. I think in other countries there's much better systems of public transportation, but I don't have that choice where I live. I would agree with you. Who else would like to share?
Actually, the question is that if you are going for the long distance journey, if you are going to cover the long distance journey, so what kind of transportation we require, and that transportation should be eco-friendly. And
So it is kind of asked, I was thinking, is it meaning like travel, like if you're going on vacation, or because I saw travel and I see vacation in that question.
that place where you cannot get any kind of public transportation, so you have to use your own vehicle.
Right. So like I think like eco-friendly, as you said, there are some places like if I want to go to Spain, the only way I'm going to go is by airplane. Airplanes can be considered not friendly to the environment, but probably the only way. You can't even take a boat there anymore, like in the old days. But I would say like eco-friendly, if at all possible, to travel, as you said. But I don't know how if you're going to go long distances, how are you going to go to a place like from Boston to Spain without going on an airplane? That's probably not the best for the environment.
I haven't seen any kind of like transportations for the going or traveling the long distance. So that is eco-friendly. If you talk about the ship, so it requires fuels, and if you talk
Right.
about the like airplanes, it also requires fuels. So that pollutes.
Have to like take a sailboat without any sort of motor to Spain, and I'm just not going to do that.
And if you are living in the same country, if you have some like short distance, about 300 or 400 kilometers, so we can have some electric vehicles that can be said as
Right.
eco-friendly. But still, we don't have this much of
You still have to charge those. Like electric vehicles, I think could be good for the environment, but then when you think about it, I got to plug it in to charge my electric vehicle. How is my electric vehicle getting electricity? It might be coming from a coal-fired electric plant, or maybe I have solar on my roof that's helping to charge the vehicle. So if I don't have solar on my roof, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on the electric vehicle. I might be good for my own pocketbook for me to save money, but I'm not sure the electric vehicle is always eco-friendly, because a lot of electric vehicles are being charged by plugging them in, and they're being charged by coal-fired electric plants, which is what we have a lot of in the US. I don't know.
But if you compare then other vehicles, other fuels, so it might be emitting less pollution.
Right, yeah, it probably is less pollution. And like when you're driving all these vehicles on the road, if they're all gas burning vehicles, there's going to be a lot of pollution, and the one that is electric doesn't have any, obviously.
In the future, we won't be able to have any kind of vehicle which cannot produce pollutions. Like that is not possible, because bringing the people from one place to another place, it requires power.
Mm-hmm.
Power can be generated by fuel only. Electric,
Right.
it doesn't have more power. It cannot bring the people, large number of the people.
In my town, almost, we have a little airport, but it's not, I can't really fly out of that airport unless like I know somebody that has a small plane. So it's really for people that want to kind of like fly small planes or take lessons. In the town I work in, which is about 40 minutes, there is a airport, and there are 3 places that I could fly to. I could fly to Florida, I could fly to Detroit, or I could fly, I think, to one other place. There's only 3 places, and this airport has, through the years, it has kind of almost closed, or airports or airlines have pulled out of it because it's not profitable. And sometimes there's no place that you can fly out of Worcester. And then sometimes there are some airlines that are giving service to Worcester. So that's pretty much out of the question for the most part for me. If I want to fly internationally or any place in the US, I go an hour to Boston. But I also have some other choices that I could go to Connecticut, I could go to New Hampshire, but most of the time Boston would be international, and Boston I could fly anywhere. So it's 1 hour. I could take a train there. I could drive there. I could drive partway and take a bus. So there's options to kind of try to do a little eco-friendly. That would be my answer.
Which is you're talking about one airport that is near to your house. So how much kilometer is far from your house?
I could almost walk there. I would say we do miles, but I would say maybe it's like 5 to 10 kilometers. Like I could probably walk there. It'd be a long walk, but it's like, and the planes fly over my house. They're little planes, like Cessnas that are like 4-passenger planes. It's really for hobbyists that fly. Or people that are giving lessons. There's like a little school if you want to take lessons to be a pilot. You could take private lessons there. And my uncle used to have he didn't own his own plane, but he was in a club. And sometimes I would go there with him, and we would do what was called the $50 hamburger. We would fly, and it was to get hours, because when you're a pilot, you want to get log hours, and we would fly to like Connecticut or someplace like that, and we would just go to the airport diner and get a hamburger, and they called it a $50 hamburger because the price of the fuel. But now it'd probably be a $200 hamburger because of the price of the fuel. But as a private pilot, if you want to kind of get your hours up, you would do all these little local flights on the weekends and stuff.
So you also need to understand when they are free, when they don't have any flight.
Yeah. Yes, they're free. And usually these people are only flying in good weather because they have only what's called a license that only allows them to fly when you can see. If the weather is cloudy and you do not have what's called an instrument license, meaning that you can fly without seeing out the window. You can land that plane without seeing out the window. So if you don't have that kind of license, you can only fly when it's clear skies.
I didn't know all these things. Okay.
Sorry, that's a little off topic.
But still, we can have this kind of knowledge also.
Yeah.
I was talking about my answer. Like from my home, there is one airport. It's around like 5 kilometers. It might take around like 15 minutes from my house to that airport. But we have some limited flights from that place. But if you want to go to somewhere, so we can have that flight. But if you want to go, if we want to go some other country for using international flights, for that manner we need to go to another states. So that is around 400 kilometers from my place.
Oh.
Wow.
And for domestic flights in all over the India, so we have one more airport that's around 80 kilometers from my house. So we have got 3 options. One is near to my house, around 5 kilometers. And another one we have that is like 80 kilometers. And then another for international flights, so we need to cross around 450 kilometers.
Oh.
So it takes an entire day to reach to that state, that place. So you might have heard about New Delhi. New Delhi is a famous place. It's capital of India.
Oh.
I think it's only the 3 of us now.
Yes.
All right. I guess we could probably answer a few more. I don't know. I can't stay on for, I don't know if we can get through all of these, but the next one is, do you expect global temperatures to continue to rise over the next few decades? Why or why not? I would say yes, they are going to rise. They are, and I don't think that I think we're past the point of return on that. But I think what they were trying to do with the Paris Climate Accords was to limit that to like 1.5 degrees Celsius. Like if we go beyond that, it's like basically those ice caps are melting. So yeah, I do think we're going to have it go up, but I guess the point is to try to limit the amount that's going to go up to hopefully the point that we're not going to have all the ice caps melt, and that would be awful for a lot of coastal countries. I mean, awful for the whole entire world, but some countries, some places are going underwater right now and will be underwater. That would be my answer.
Thank you. And in my case, I don't expect the temperature continue rise, because I think now in my area, the temperature is warm enough. I compare in some decades ago. I think now the temperature is higher than last decade, maybe 1 or 1.5 degree Celsius. And in the summer, we feel hotter, much hotter than before. We often have some natural disaster like storm or flood, and something like that. So I don't expect the temperature continue rise.
Well, in my country, not about my country, there is no like a doubt that global warming will be growing. Basically, day by day, it's the
Yes.
temperature is growing day by day because we have been using a lot of air conditions, fridges, and like air coolers, water coolers. So a lot of things we are using. We have been using for like decades or like 40 years or 50 years. We have been using all this thing, and still we the production is growing every year. Then in summer season we have the hottest days. So we can feel, we can realize the temperature is growing day by day, is growing. So no doubts in future after decades we'll be having such kind of like hot temperature, the hottest temperature. Earth is, what to say, that Earth is just getting warm day by day, and the ozone layer is depleting day by day. It's depleting. People are saying that like it's healing. They are improving the conditions of ozone layer, but still I don't think so that it's happening because the sun rays, they're coming directly on the Earth. You cannot move bare face on the sun. You can move. That strikes your ear, burns your skins.
Agreed. Like here, like right now we're in winter and I see snow outside, but usually I would have snow all winter and the snow would not be gone from the grass until April or May. But every time we have snow, in a few days, we have rain and all the snow melts and then we can see the grass. And we don't even have much snow anymore. Our lakes don't freeze. They used to freeze, or they freeze for a very short time. Our lakes would be frozen to the point that you could go out all winter and safely go on them, ice skate or whatever you wanted on the lakes. But now it's not safe. We have extreme weather. We have like something that was like a blizzard bomb. Like we had a blizzard, but they called it like a blizzard bomb because there was going to be so much snow, like more than like 24 inches of snow in this amount of time, and winds that were 50 to 60 miles an hour for more than 4 hours, and like whiteout conditions. And we have hurricanes, more hurricanes. They ran out of names every year. They used to only have like whatever, maybe there was like, they would get halfway through the alphabet, they named them after like people's names. But now they run out and they start going into the Greek alphabet to name the hurricanes. So we get more and more extreme weather here. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Like basically it's happening in the summer. It's hotter than ever. In the winter, we're not getting the kind of snow that we should be getting. Or when we do, it's extreme to the point that it's dangerous. So I think that the fact that all the weather has been more and more extreme. Sometimes people say that we don't have global warming because we have like this super cold weather and all the snow. But when you get extreme weather and more extreme weather, I think that's also like the global warming.
Exactly. In my country, this is the month of winter, end of the winter. This is February. Now the March has been started, and still we had cold. This time we used to have cold. But this time I'm wearing only t-shirt.
Yes.
I miss people are not wearing sweater or jackets. Even half of sweater, sleeveless sweater, they are not wearing. So the reason behind is that the earth is getting warm. The entire globe is getting warm. So there's a reason behind this. And still we are saying that the ozone layer condition is improving. And how many air conditions we are using every year, like the production is double, triple, 4 times. So we cannot have the solutions because people's buying capacity is growing, purchasing capacity is growing. People are earning money, they are making money. And before
Yes.
we could live without air condition, without fridge, we could live. but now we are not able to live. If our air conditioner is not working, so we can't sleep in the night. I'm talking about myself. I'm also the part of the entire society. I also cannot sleep without air conditions in the summer season. But when I was child, around 10 years or 15 years, so I could sleep without fan. So now this kind of comfort zone we have, and we are not able to come out
Yes.
from that comfort zone. And for all these
Yes,
things, we
yes.
all are responsible.
Agreed. All right. So did we all answer that one?
Question number 5.
I think so. Oh, question